A warm welcome to all the listeners. Listen to the Blue Horse. Dr.C.K.N. is in conversation with Pooja. I'm sure you'll enjoy this session, and I'm sure it's going to be some food for your thought.
Welcome back, listeners. How are you, Mr. Blue Horse?
I'm very good.
All right. Now let's jump into the topic today. You have this video channel, right, where you talk in the native language.
Yeah.
In that you had mentioned, there was this one topic about the health of the eye.
My mother tongue.
Native language, your native language, right?
Yeah.
So, there was this topic about the health of the eye, right? Do you want to discuss that in this current language right now so that the wider audience can understand? Because it's such a precious thing, right? Eyesight. That is, if you can just impart your wisdom.
So you want to know the
More about
ophthalmic science, is it?
Yes.
Ophthalmic science, you should know. Ophthalmic science is a huge one.
Ophthalmology, yes.
Okay. Ophthalmology, they call it. L-O-G-I-L-O-G means science. It's derived from the Greek word called logos, L-O-G-U-S. So they
Jumping
took
back into the eye.
L-O-G-U-S and made it into L-O-G-Y, logy.
Yes.
So they connect this to everything. Logy. Whatever may be the logy, it's too difficult for us to understand the eye.
Yeah, such a tiny but
Yeah.
precious.
You know how each, what is the weight of your eye? Each eye?
Few grams.
They're only 28 grams.
Grams, yeah.
And we all go through this school science. We study science in schools. You and me would have definitely studied about the eye in biology. The basics.
Basic, yeah.
You have the sclera, the white part of it. Eyes, ball-like stuff.
Retina.
And you have the cornea in the front, which is a transparent sheet. Then you have iris inside, which reflects the color. Cornea is a transparent sheet. Then you have the pupil, then you have the lens. The lens is held by a ciliary body, the ciliary cells. Then you have the vitreous, which is the liquid filled in the eye,
Yeah.
which is continuously produced by the ciliary body cells and drained at the same time with the drain canal, so that the pressure is maintained, so that the eye remain intact as a globe. Okay. Then you have the retina, which is a screen where the light falls, and which is connected to the optical disc. That's connected to the optic nerves, which carry signals to the brain. It travels right through the brain. The cortex at the back, where your hair is starting at the back, near the neck. In that area, the visual center is there.
Oh.
So the optic nerve travels right through the brain to visual center in the cortex. Cortex is the topmost portion of the eye, of the brain. So this optical disc has got nearly 1.44 million junctions. Such a small disc, you can imagine. So if the cornea becomes opaque, you lose your vision because the light cannot enter. The keratoconus, which is another problem, which the cornea becomes a cone. It is like a dome shape actually. Then the light gets distorted and it affects your vision. Then if the shape of the eyeball, the corneal little bit of defects and the lens and all these put together gives you plus power and minus power. Minus power is called myopia. Then you have various infections of the eye, conjunctivitis and all that.
Yeah.
Then you have something called glaucoma. Glaucoma can be solved because the drain canal is blocked or not properly draining, narrowed down.
Right.
The vitreous aqua solution produced by the eye, it's keep going. So it gets accumulated, it increases the pressure of the eye. At that time, the pressure presses the retina so that the retina gets damaged. Glaucoma, you can lose your full vision if you don't look after it.
Oh.
So
How
you
does
have
one
drop
know?
when you get struck with glaucoma, your eyeball starts paining a little.
Okay.
So you can imagine there's a meter, just put it on your eye. You can close your eye, they put the meter, they see the pressure. It should not be more than some 14 or something. Once 17, 18, 20 cross and all that, they give you a drop, eye drop, morning and evening. Just put two drops in your eye, both your eye. Keeps your helps you to get your draining canal of vitreous liquid going, so that the pressure doesn't build in your eye. Otherwise, they have laser connections, right? With which it's a laser surgery.
Yeah.
That's a small thing. They, the blocked canal or the narrowing down of the canal is opened up to normalcy, so that the draining takes place. You can avoid using these glaucoma drops on a daily basis.
Okay.
So you have the tear glands, which produces tears. Especially the corneal cells are transparent and they have no blood vessels there. If there are the blood vessels there, it becomes red. The light cannot enter in.
Yeah.
Right. So what happens here is cornea cannot have blood vessels, but the corneal cells need oxygen.
Okay.
So how they get the oxygen is tear glands produces this tear water. That's got oxygen, right? Water always got oxygen. So your eyes keep, what do you call?
Tearing up?
No. Your eyes got blinking, right? So every time when you blink, it is exactly, spreading the water on the cornea.
Right.
From that water, it picks up the oxygen. That's how the system is formed.
Magic.
Okay, it's quite magical.
Yeah.
So, and your power system, like if you have myopia, minus power or plus power at the age of 40 and all that, so you can recorrect your visions with glasses. Corneal problems, you can transplant the cornea. So eye transplant is something only cornea can be transplanted, not the whole eye. Do you know that, right?
No, I don't. I really
Now, if suppose you donate your eye after you die,
only that film.
only the cornea will be, it's saved and kept, the whole eye in a particular temperature. When somebody needed a cornea to be transplanted, they take the donated eye, they only put a circular blade and cut the cornea and take it. They cut the cornea of the person which is having fault.
Affected.
And then they put this cornea and suture it. It's called the butterfly sutures. It's a micro eye surgery, a corneal transplant. Corneal transplant is eye transplant. The rest of the eyeball is waste thrown out.
Wow. Okay.
You can't do anything.
Right. So this eye transplant, does it change eye colors?
Change?
The eye color? Like for example...
No. Cornea is transparent.
Yeah, because
See,
I've seen movies...
The color of the eye is the iris. Iris is the color of the eye.
Right, because I've seen movies
So you
like
have
where
black,
they change
you
the
have
color.
brown, you can grey,
Right.
you can greenish eye, bluish eye, Europe and all you can see that.
Okay.
So in Indian subcontinent, either we have...
Brown, hazel.
Yeah. Black, brown and maybe cat eye, light brown.
Yeah, hazel.
We don't have grey, blue and green and all that. Okay. From geography to geography it changes. So the eyeball is a tricky stuff in a sense like that the light falls on the retina. Your retina is the thinnest organ of the human body. It's so thin.
Okay.
It's hardly less than 2 mm.
Wow.
So you have photoreceptor cells, rods and cones. You have retinal epithelial cells. You have retinal pigmentary cells. They all support systems. You have structures called rhodopsins. And you have hundreds of capillaries running all over. Capillary is 1/16 of the human hair, which is the thinnest blood vessel. Where the RBC cannot go in, the hole is so small. The RBC shrink itself and go. They march as soldiers one behind another. Okay, this is the most tricky part of the blood flowing through that. Such a tiny tubes called capillaries. So that's why the retina is called, it is placed on the carpet of blood vessels.
Right.
So the huge amount of vitreoretinal problems are unanswered till today. Whether it will be answered in future or not, we don't know.
Okay.
So you have to understand how exactly the retina works. The center portion of the retina is called the macula, maybe around 60% of the retina in the center. The balance outer circle is called the periphery. So the periphery is filled more with rods, which can see day, black and white and night vision.
Okay.
The central portion of the retina is called the macular region retina, macular region vision. It's more filled with cones, very less of rods. They are responsible for minute vision, day vision and color vision.
Right.
How exactly the system works is the light signals, what you're seeing, the light reflecting from there, crossing through your cornea, through your pupil, through your lens, through the vitreous liquid, fall on the screen, which is called the retina. So beyond that, the light signals cannot travel.
Right.
Because they are solid substances, right? So now, these where a chemical reaction takes place in the eye. So the light signals are converted to electrical pulse in this chemical reaction, which is the retinal action, for which you need vitamin A.
Vitamin?
A. That's why vitamin A is important for the eye.
Right.
Vitamin A is the substance, it's a component used to convert the light signals to electrical pulse. Then these electrical pulse converted by the retina travels through the optic disc to the optic nerve, goes right inside to your your visual center in the cortex as one image. Both the eye sees differently. There are two images. They are synchronized into one image and given to the brain. So the brain recognizes what you see.
Okay.
You understand how it works?
Yeah.
So there's something called light adaptation and dark adaptation. The pupil, the iris and pupil, they contract and expand according to the light. Say suppose you're going from a bright light into a cinema theater, which is so dark. You take some time to adjust.
Yeah.
That's called dark adaptation.
Right.
So you're going to sit for 2 hours, 3 hours watching a movie, and then the movie ends at around 4:30 in the afternoon. When you come out, it will be so bright outside. The eye immediately shrinks and allow very little light to go in. That's called the light adaptation.
Mr. Bluehurst, slightly off topic. Why does the pupil dilate when somebody's had any drugs or alcohol?
Yeah, that's a chemical reaction. The component which is coming inside as alcohol dilate your eye because it's getting mixed in the blood. That has the effect on that.
Okay.
Like how they want to do a fundus test to see the status of your retina. They put eye drops for you in the eye clinic.
Dilation.
They open up your pupil. It cannot shrink for some time to come.
For some time, yeah.
After that, the effect of the eye drops goes, it will start its action. So that they can put more light inside and see how healthy your retina is. So now you have around 6 muscles around the eye. There are two muscles on top, down, 2 sides, 6 types of muscles which control the movement of your eye. Seeing right to the left and left, moving the eyeball, rotating the eyeball and all that stuff.
Right.
So when when one side of the muscle goes weak, then you get into squint eye.
Oh.
It pulls it off.
Okay.
So this is one thing. The eye which is placed inside the cavity as an eyeball weighing 28 grams, that area in and around the eye where the muscles are sitting is called an orbit. Suppose if there is any extra growth there of tissues, it tends to push your eye out.
Okay.
That's called hemangioma if it is benign.
Right.
If it is malignant, it is meningioma, H and M. And these tissues are not removed. If they grow bigger, they press the optic nerve, so you lose your vision.
Oh.
Okay?
Cannot be removed.
If it is not removed.
If it is not removed.
The arbitrary experts are there. They go through your nose and remove this growth.
Wow. Okay.
So all these things are, very funny. Then you have cataract, which is deposits of certain components, more so certain proteins.
Oh.
Which is getting deposited on your lens.
Okay.
So that it's cutting off the light.
Right.
Passing through your lens. So you have the cataract operation. Now the latest version is, they put a very small hole, go inside, suck the whole thing, and then, they send the intraocular lens and place it there, IOL. That's how they, clear your cataract.
Yeah, very quick, right? In a day they just...
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah, so now what is the unanswered part of ophthalmology is vitreoretinal problems. So you have number of problems which they have no clue whatsoever till now. Research has been going on in the last 60-70 years in a full swing. Especially in the last 40 years, since 1985, lot of research has been going on.
Yeah.
But they are unable to go anywhere near it. They are finding it hard.
Okay.
Their number of problems are there. First one is the retinal blastoma, which is called the retinal cancer.
Yeah.
Eye cancer it's called.
Yeah.
So retinal cells are also subjected to short span of life, like the other body cells. Every body cell, every type of body cell is individual cells and their own lifespan. They die and the new cells get produced, come and take over. Likewise, retinal cells also. So, if these retinal photoreceptor cells produced to take over the dead cells, if they are not produced, if they are not fully matured cells,
Okay.
they become cancerous, which is called the retinal blastoma.
As in what happens?
They have to remove the eye immediately.
Oh.
You're gone. You can't do anything. Because it is very close to the brain, you know.
Okay.
You cannot allow it to spread to the brain. If suppose they're scared, it may spread to the brain. This is one.
That's terrible.
Second is retinal degenerative problems. You know, you have retinitis pigmentosa,
Yes.
which was found in way back in 1859, in 1850s. And the photoreceptor cells are not getting replaced. It comes under the autoimmune deficiency.
Yeah.
Why should the immune system or helpless a portion of your body is dying slowly, not getting replaced? So they are not able to understand this. They are doing a lot of work from the genetic angle.
Yeah.
They see the faultiness of the human gene mutations, mapping gene mutations, and so on and so on. Elaborate work has been going on. No remedy so far. And once these photoreceptor cells are not getting replaced, dying, so the rate in which the retina is dying, the rate in which your vision will die. Slowly you will become blind. It is a very versatile in character, this problem. So in more cases you have the field of vision first getting affected. From outer the problem starts. Okay, you have 180 degrees of vision.
Yeah.
So from the outer area it start damaging the retina. So that your field of vision gets
Reduced.
closer and closer. Then you come to tubular vision. Almost your periphery is dead. Then slowly the macular will also die. These are divided into, these are typical retinitis pigmentosa, which comes from outer. There are retinitis pigmentosa which affect the mid-periphery and slowly the macular also. Maybe leaving the periphery intact for some time to come. So the degeneration is much slower in these cases. Then in autosomal dominant gene, that is either both or one of the parent is direct sufferer, and their offsprings are inheriting the problem. The deterioration is very slow. If suppose autosomal recessive gene where both the parents are normal and the child is affected, then the degeneration, loss of vision is much faster. Maybe in many cases 3 to 6 years they will completely become blind when the manifestation of the problem starts.
Oh,
Okay?
that is fast.
Yeah. You can't do anything, you can only stand and watch. Okay? Then you have, there's something called Usher syndrome.
Okay.
That is RP, that is retinitis pigmentosa, with moderate hearing disability
Oh.
and a small part of mental retardation.
Oh my God.
All three together, called Usher syndrome.
Oof.
You can't do anything about it. In these retinitis pigmentosa, these cases, as the retinal cells are dying and your retina is becoming weak, you're not able to see normal vision. You have impaired vision.
Yeah.
The more of these photoreceptor cells dying, you see the formation of pigments over there. That's why it's called pigmentosa.
All right.
Which they can do it, see it in the fundus test, the larger formation of pigments. This is one fact why this is called retinitis pigmentosa. Then you have Lawrence and Moon syndrome, where mental retardation is very high, and
Related to the
they come
eye.
out with these people when they grow up, they have very small genital organs,
Oh.
all that kind of thing, with RP, with mental retardation, with disability in hearing to a large extent, all that kind of thing.
Oh my God.
Then 1950s, 60s, Germans have found there is something called Stargardt disease of the retina. It is also like RP, where formation of pigments are not formed.
Okay.
So it is not typical retinitis pigmentosa, but it is the degeneration part of the retina. But then because of the pigmentations are not forming there, pigments are not forming there in the area, they called it a Stargardt disease. Okay.
All right.
Then you have optic nerve related problems. The problems of the optic nerve. And one more stuff with retina is diabetic retinopathy.
Oh yes.
The diabetic people, when they don't take care of them properly, when the sugar contents are always higher in their blood, it slowly affect your capillaries in the retina,
Right.
those thin blood vessels, and they crack, they start bleeding.
Oh.
Because of that, your retina will damage.
Oh.
So once the retina is damaged, you cannot revive it back. It is not possible. Over a span of time, they worked on a retinal transplant, which they failed.
Okay.
Now, I don't think so. They are trying very, very hard on that. They scrape the retina and inject the retinal cells from the donated eye. Took a chance that these guys go and sit and form retinal cells or start working. No, it has not happened.
Didn't happen.
Then there's something called optobionics, replacing the retina with an electronic chip on the surface of the retina, which does the retinal job by sending signals through the optic nerve to the visual center of the brain where you can see what you're seeing. So they've been working on that in the last 40 years, no luck.
Okay.
I don't think so it can come up in my books.
All right.
You cannot replace such a vital organ with whatever your brainy chips which you can discover or invent. I don't think so it's possible.
Okay.
So diabetic retinopathy is another one which can, completely damage your vision. So then you have age-related macular degeneration.
Where cataract and all.
Not cataract. This is something to do with the retina. Cataract is only to do with the lens, which can always be recorrected. If you are going to have age-related macular degeneration, maybe it starts at the age of 55, 60. There are two things. One, extra growth of blood vessels out there, which damages your retina in the macular region. More number of growth of blood vessels are called angiogenesis. There is a wrong type of angiogenesis where more number of blood vessels are growing there than what it should be. It takes the space of your retinal cells, right? So what happens? Your retinal cells get distorted. So you lose your vision.
Right.
Sometimes even, in most of the RP cases and with, age-related macular degeneration, they see capillaries close themselves and die for no reason.
Oh.
So what happens? The lack of blood supply comes in.
Yeah.
So that nothing can be done. Nourishment to those millions of cells in the retina are not happening because of the capillaries are closing themselves and dying, which we cannot go and stop it.
Such a tiny organ, so many complications.
On the other hand, how much of microorganisms of the built-in structure born and living with us are involved in these kind of abnormality situations with respect to vitreoretinal problems, which we have no clue whatsoever so far.
Wow, okay.
So that also have to be looked into. Maybe future generations with more minute techniques or development for research, instrumentations and other things will be in a position to assess and slowly look into the vital involvement of microorganisms helping the ophthalmic function. So these are all the number of problems with respect to vitreoretinal diseases are unanswered so far. I don't know when it will be answered. There are millions and millions of people are suffering from some or the other vitreoretinal problems all over the world.
Yeah.
And they have no answer whatsoever. You cannot even stop the further damage. We have no techniques to do that. There are certain small stuffs are coming up now. Treatments with exosomes, peptides, embryonic cells and whatnot. If they are going to be successful in that, then there may be something will be there for the scientific community, medical community to offer to such people.
Right.
suffering from retinal problems. But when it comes to the question of economics, how costly it's going to be and how many people can afford is a question mark.
Yeah.
Because those things, once they found something, it's going to be bloody expensive.
Yeah.
So these are all the unanswered questions of ophthalmology. We wish the mankind, with the tool of science, will be in a position to come out with some answer to ease out these people. You have one of the greatest foundation called Foundation Fighting Blindness, which is there in Baltimore, US, doing tremendous job supporting many things, supporting many research on these areas. There's huge number of researchers going on, USA, Canada, Ireland, UK, Germany, and all advanced European nations, Japan, New Zealand, Australia. So the embryonic stem cells developed by Japanese seems to be having some good results.
That's good news.
And how many people can afford that, and whether it's going to be available, whether your medical rules and regulations of your country
Will allow.
is going to allow. Now in India we have no law for it. You're not supposed to do all that kind of treatment. We have not given permission as yet. So all those regulation problems are also there. So I wish something will come up for this unanswered part of ophthalmology.
Yes.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Blue Horse. With hope, we sign off. Meet you in the next session.